Hey everyone,
We have now. Hey everyone.
Hit the subscribe button. Drop
As
a
I
like.
change my camera around. Hi friends. Welcome.
So who is this guy who's hanging around between me and Sarah this week?
I don't know. I was on travel. Why you?
All right, you can't say. You say who's that guy, and I immediately go to my favorite guilty pleasure, favorite movie, Grease 2, and there's a wonderful musical scene in there. I won't sing it.
There was a follow-up to Grease?
There was.
Grease 2. So good.
Was it as good as Grease?
I would disagree. I think Grease is so much better than Grease 2, but
just holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, but you can't add a special place in your heart for Hamilton.
Nope. Nope. Grease 2 getting recorded. Grease 2 is going to be better than Hamilton, even though I haven't seen it. Nothing beats Grease 2.
Hamilton does.
I mean, Alex, you could watch Grease 2 if you want to. If you trust me with movies after 2001 Space Odyssey.
I do not trust you.
That's my point.
Now I have to look up the lyrics and then start applying them to Alex here on Who's That Guy. But I forget. We're actually doing real things here. We're not just talking like it's the Jira Life episode. Right?
I mean,
like that one lady that's pinged me on the side and complained.
Oh, no. That's an aside.
Oh, that is an aside. I know what he's talking about, and that was a whole thing. But we'll save that for the Jira Life After Dark at Team 25 Europe.
Is that what we're doing? Are we doing live streams like at 11 p.m.?
No, we're not, Alex. I want to do that to you.
Why not? We're gonna be awake. Parties.
Because we're going to be busy.
Sleeping. I'm gonna be sleeping.
Yeah, I could spike enough caffeine in your food.
As long as it's not cafefe, I'm good.
All right. So leaving off last week. We were talking about.
It's a template. I know that love-hate relationship that we talked about last week with templates, right?
Yeah, Alex missed that whole confession I had last week that he's just going to have to wonder about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll live. I'm not that curious.
But it's fun.
That goes too dark.
But we talked about all the various templates. We went in detail about the templates for JSM.
Mm-hmm.
We're just talking about how you create templates when we realized the time and had to cut off for the evening. So, Sarah, if you don't mind picking us up.
All right. So let's talk about how we create those projects from a template. So yes, most of the times you do want to use a template. There is the possibility to go blank, which might be what you want because it has all, then you just build it in as you want. But when we create a template with pre-configurations, depending upon that template we select, we're going to get some additional issue types, work item types. I feel like I need to put money in a jar, and you get related workflows and request types associated with those. Now, to create a company managed project, of course, we do need to be a Jira admin unless they have team managed projects turned on, and then you could create a team managed project. So we're going to do that by clicking that plus icon next to create a project, which they're going to point to in that graphic below, and which is when you are a product admin, way too easy to hit that accidentally and then land in template land. So this just walks us through step by step, creating it, browsing the templates, checking out what the templates have to offer, selecting a different one if need be, naming your project, and if you remember before our best practices, really give some good thought to what you want that key for that project to be, because you will see it everywhere. So then it says, if available, select a team type. Interesting, because every time I create it, I always have to select a team type. So this is honestly just gathering a little more intel on you so it can start directing you down some paths potentially. If available, select an access level. This determines how other users and people can interact with your project. And then whether or not, and of course, we would recommend often sharing those settings with an existing project so that it will copy the configurations. But here's the thing, friends. When you select a template and then you go share configurations, just doesn't even matter what template you selected. It overwrites it with all of those shared configurations. I don't know if that'd be on the test, but just something to call out there. So last step, create a project, and then it's going to go, ooh, like in the Peanuts character movies, and then you'll have a project made.
So, Alex, we would have just toughed it out and did that, but we were already like 5-10 minutes late on ending the stream. When we got to that point, and like, yeah, we probably should end it. So, question time. So we start with the true and false. Only 50% chance to get it wrong. The project template determines who can configure your project and whether your configurations are shared with other projects.
Alex, what is it?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention. You're gonna have to proceed without me on this one.
Are you making coloring book pages while we're trying to study?
There's you know, when earlier, Rodney, you said, who's that guy? And you nailed it. It's that guy. That guy who comes to study group and doesn't participate.
Well, for full disclosure, I don't plan on taking this test either, so
Oh,
I'm not too
man.
incentivized.
Oh, so I should probably mention that I had Lena sign you up while you were busy today.
Right. No, she has access to all my emails, and I would have seen an email.
All right. So Liz is chiming in. She says negative. I learned about this 20 seconds before the ACP-120. Wait, that might not be in response to this true or false, but go ahead, Rodney.
I'm gonna go with false too.
You're just gonna run with the false?
Because share.
Oh, good thing you did.
Yep, that configuration share we heard was one of the options.
And Liz, I trust. So.
Oh, you trust Liz, but no hashtag I believe Sarah?
I was gonna say, I like this though. It's hashtag and Liz I trust, hashtag I believe Sarah. I like that.
All right, so Sigma IT Solutions, as an IT services company, wants a service project to help them manage incidents, changes, service requests. They also want a template that is pre-configured with the ITSM best practice. Which project template should they choose? Customer Service Management, General Service Management, IT Service Management, and HR Service Management.
Oh, there's only one for this one. And it's in the question.
Right.
I was about to say, they literally mention it as an acronym in the question.
Context clues.
Did you guys hear that there's patterns in how questions are asked? Like for multiple choice questions, there's always, or most of the time, there's always the inverse of the question. So the question is asking like, which is the ITSM? There's going to be a question that's like the polar opposite, right? Like the immediate 180. Then there's the red herring. Then there's going to be the one that's obviously wrong. And then there's going to be the one that's obviously right.
Oh, so with your options, you're saying?
Yeah, with the options. Like it's like a pattern of test makers. They follow that pattern. So I've been looking at this and I'm like, well, one's inherently right. It would have been cool if they would have thrown in like something that didn't exist, like I don't know, like junior service management or something.
You have to be able to show why the wrong answer is wrong. So I think it would be hard to show that junior service project management doesn't exist. It's going to be documentable.
Let's go with C.
IT Service Management.
There we go. My C looks better. Or like this. Am I 180?
Woo!
And again, ITSM stands for IT Service Management.
But does it really? Doesn't it stand for like information technology service management?
I mean, if you want to expand it out even further, but
I just feel like you can't, like, do an acronym with an acronym.
actually, its service management references a certain clown with a red balloon.
I've never heard it pronounced it.
Now I'm going to be that person though. And since I've learned it, I can't unlearn it and I can't unhear it. It's an initialism because it's IT service management. So you take the first letters. It would be an acronym if you called it ITSM.
My
You
son,
know, as
Or-
much as we
for
say
instance-
Jeepus and Jippity and why don't we say
Exactly.
it's
the
Now-
acronym, all the stuff.
Now
like it.
Jippity would be more of an acronym, but GPT would be an initialism.
My son, when he was first learning, got his computer. He one time he's like, "Can I take my pick with me?" And we're like, "What the heck is a pick?" And he's just like, "Can I take my pick?" And we're like a toothpick? He's like, "No, my thing to play Roblox." And we're like, "What the heck is a pick?" Turns out that's how you pronounce PC.
Oh, yeah. He is your son. Period. Period. He
So
is
now
your
we
son.
always just call his PC his pick.
And I also
I mean,
like
if it
Liz's
works.
call out when she would write the test. She would put a lot of right answers as B because I imagine her sitting at the table in The Princess Bride. So I'm just going to continue my movie references whenever possible. And you think I'm going to drink that because you switched it, but aha. And then somebody can come back later and tell me what that move is called.
We're just gonna have an episode where instead of doing this test, the study sessions, we're gonna watch Hamilton.
Aha.
And
I had a
force the
teacher in
input.
high school who actually made her final exam answers A B C D A B C D A B C D A B C, just all the way down. I got finished with the test and I had to redo the test all over again because I was certain I was doing something wrong.
Yeah,
You guys ever heard
exactly.
Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart did abacadabra, abacadabra, abacadabra.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna go do a mic drop test on a mic drop on a test and say just abacadabra, abacadabra.
Right. So the ad wants to create a project for his developer team, which delivers work in 2-week increments. Which project template should he use? Kanban, Scrum, bug tracking, or top-level planning template?
There's only one for this one.
You're right,
Which
Kanban.
Scrum Man. Yeah. Which should not be on the JSM exam.
No.
But JSM now does have boards, Kanban boards, which I don't know why they're there.
Don't get me started.
To infuriate people like Alex.
Or Sarah. I don't
Or-
get that mad.
Or deep pockets. Who knows?
So moving
All right.
on, we're actually getting into something that actually is JSM related.
And so fun. Setting up requests and queues, something that you could do for days and days and days and days, though I would caution not to. So
Not
by
for
the end
my
of this lesson,
sanity.
we're going to learn how to set up request types for our customers in company and team managed service projects. Look at that little snarl I get when I say team managed. And create and manage queues for your service team. All right, so configuring request types to track customer needs. So those request types that we build on top of work item types are to help us define and categorize the requests customers create. I think it doesn't help you define and categorize, but it also helps your customers. That's part of the whole goal here. So they will appear as options in your portal, making it easy for people to request the type of help they need. Project admins configure the request type for their service project. So I kind of want to highlight that word. Project admins configure request types. So this is a little bit different, right? Because we're not saying they can configure work item types, but they can create the request types that live on top of those work items. You get a lot more
We
power.
may have a full house soon.
Oh, yeah?
I
More
just
than
love how StreamYard here just says like King Bob has entered the studio. It's like,
I love it.
it just needs entry music.
Well,
Don't we all?
I need my entry music, which if we're doing this on YouTube, we would get an Instagram and probably be shut down. So
We've got We got licenses for some music. You just have to select it out of the music catalog. We have
Well,
licenses.
okay, the licensable music, sure,
Or
but not like John Williams' Imperial March from Empire Strikes Back.
Or what if we sing it just so entirely off key so as to be unrecognizable? Is that allowed?
No,
Every
Um,
song
that
Sarah
doesn't
sings.
work.
That doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
As a musician, I would have to not participate and take my headphones off because it would hurt my soul.
To hear me sing something so terribly off key.
Well, this is why Taylor Swift was working really
Right.
hard to get what are called the master recordings. So, but
Yep.
I digress. Tell us more about request types.
We've been digressing the whole time. So
Welcome
I'll
to the last
say,
15 minutes of digression.
God save the king. Okay, I won't sing it. How's that? All right, so this is an example of our service requests. And so we see in that first column are fun little icons that we can add to it to make them a little bit more recognizable, because I love UX and iconography. And then next to that is the type and description. So I'm sorry, I'm going to just roll through this because I got to tell everybody everything. So we see the title of our request type, and that description is going to be visible out to your folks on the portal. The issue type, however, will not, which it should say work item type, because we say, hey, fix an account problem is going to use a system service request because we want it associated with that workflow that we see next to that. So in this case, it's a service request fulfillment workflow for Jira Service Management. Blah, blah, blah. And so portal groups, that's how we can combine some request types to make them easier to find, so people can click on those portal groups and then get into each one of those individual request types. And then relatively new, is the ability to restrict these, which was exciting. As somebody who had to constantly answer the question, no, I'm sorry, we can't restrict those request types anyway. And then last on here, you'll see your actions menu. Now, if you go into JSM right now, it's probably going to look a little different than even this screen does. You get a little bit more information and ways to reorganize them. But the main takeaway is this is how you can go out and find all of the request types and work on them in your project, so long as you are a project admin. All right. And so down below, I mentioned earlier, your project may come with some default request types because the template uses them. But just because you started off with them doesn't mean you have to keep them. Everything's configurable. It's Jira. That's Jira's
What's your preference for that?
What?
What's your preference for that?
For the templates versus customizing them?
Not necessarily. I guess my better question is, do you prefer to have like pre-created request types, or do you prefer to have a blank slate and you make them?
I'm a big fan of pre-created request types because that also includes the work items that map to them on the back end, which also means screens, workflows that you can start off with and modify. But
you're gonna have to modify them anyways.
Not if you're if you're starting from scratch.
Especially as a project admin.
I would argue that it's better to get 75, 80, 90% of what you want and just modify the last 10% to suit your needs than trying to build the entire thing 100% by yourself.
Yeah, but when are these like out of the box templates 80% of what you need?
So
I like the silence.
No.
I mean, I think it's a very good basis for building. I don't know about like 80% of what you need, but it's definitely more than
50%. It's or even 25. That's work you don't have to do, Alex. That's my point.
But out of the hundreds and hundreds of JSM projects I made in my career, I've always had to redo all the out of the box stuff. So I'm like, I'd rather just start with a blank slate.
So what I'm hearing is you're not great at picking those templates we were talking about in the last section.
I would argue that or not great at making good templates.
That or he likes to charge extra as a consultant.
No, because I'm faster
that
than
may be
doing the whole dumb thing. I worked twice as hard trying to undo all the crap Atlassian did and then do it right.
Oh. I only
Atlassian,
have
that
paid
was
attention
Alex
because
Ortiz.
there's somebody at my front door who I don't recognize. But all
The
I heard
boogeyman?
was do it right. And
Pizza delivery.
no, there's like these two big orange bags on my front porch now that are filled with like yard debris or something.
You're
Or
welcome.
my kids
Crickets?
ordered a huge bag of weed. It's really crazy looking, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Picture
Oh,
it
sure, it's
doesn't
not
happen.
revenge for the crickets.
Could be.
So just to stay off topic, I had some cricket powder a couple weeks ago. It was fun. Okay.
Sean says, "Don't answer the door." We have
I'm
a
not
strict "don't
going
answer the
to.
door." As a
And now
Hispanic,
my cat, now my cat's like sniffing it all. She's like, "What is this? What is it?" I have no idea what's on.
Okay, let's go back to creating request types.
All right. So I have a request type that says, tell me what's on my front door, and it's going to have the following fields. All right. But so creating request types, if they're not already there and we want to create a new one, we do have create new, we have create from template. We also have options to use Atlassian Intelligence, which like most of this stuff now is a little hit and miss in terms of how well does it interpret what you're asking it for.
and I'll be
See,
the one
I
that
haven't
says that
gone
it's more
there
miss than it
yet.
is hit.
I haven't gone to ask Atlassian Intelligence. I will. I will use.
I have
the
tried
free-
it and it's
It's more
smoking
miss.
whatever on my front porch.
Yeah. So,
So they're mums. That's what they are. I ordered some mums. Okay, now I got it. All right. So to
You
create
forgot
a
what you
new
ordered?
request type- so you go to the project admin access menu. So we're over in our left panel. We go to our project. We hit ... go to our project admin, and then we are going to go under request types, which you now
Wait,
might
do you
have
say
to-
dot, or is it ellipses?
just ... Dot's easier. I don't
so
stumble on it as
I
much.
call it the action menu and then put ...
Action menu.
or ellipses
Yep.
in parentheses.
I
just
call it the
ellipses.
squash hamburger.
Yep.
Sticky
So then we're
fingers.
going to go into request management, click on our request types. Now, this is an interesting though, friends, because it says then service requests. And I think this should only be true if you have elected to use the different work categories. I'm not sure that is 100% true all of the time. But either way, if you see request management, incident management, change management, etc., then you will want to go into that particular area for the type of request that you're going to want to create. But in this case, they're telling us to go head over to our service requests, click on request type, select create request type. That's going to be up over here. And then click on add a request type. Really just follow all the steps they're giving you. In this case, they want to create a blank one. You'll enter the name and description and the icon, which is going to appear out on your portal. Select that portal group, but you don't have to. You can create it later. You can add portal groups later. But you do have to select the work type to match the request type. No, and I take that back. On number 7, there is now an unassigned option. So you can't just leave it blank. You do have to go in and select one of the groups, which could be no group. And then select the work type to match the request type, bearing in mind my work item type is associated with the workflow that I want this request type to use, and then selecting save.
Once you do that, once you select the work item type to match up to the request type, you've basically locked yourself in. You cannot change the synchronization after you hit save. If you realize you lined them up with the wrong work item type, you're gonna just have to delete this new request type and start over again. At least from my experience.
And this time pick a template.
No, you can change work item type and workflows on a request type after
You can change the
make it.
workflows, but you can't change the type, I don't think.
You have to, because that's a one-to-one relationship. So what happens is you do have the ability to go hit change workflow, and then you change the workflow, and then it'll show you what item types are available for that workflow, and you can change it. It's not awesome, but it is possible.
No, but once you've synced up a request type with a work item type, that's it. Game over. right? You
That's not
can't
what
you
Sarah's
can't
arguing.
change you can't go back to the request type and edit it to change the work item type.
But you can change the workflow, as Sarah says.
Well, yeah, you can do that.
But then Sarah
But
says,
that
as you change the
changes the work
workflow,
item type.
they're associated to the work item type. So by virtue of association, you've changed the work item type. To Jira to test.
I think it's time for a demo.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah.
remember
Do it
my
live.
hashtag. Although now my palms are sweating, you all,
Come on,
because I'm like,
Jira,
man, I was
karate
so
guy.
adamantly arguing this. What if I'm wrong? But
This
I
is
know
for
I
all the
got
money
it,
in the
that
world,
over
Sarah.
in the
Your
upper right,
job
when
is
you're
on the
under
line.
request type, you're going to have the option that says to change that workflow.
Your job is on the line, Sarah. This is why we don't open our big fat mouths on a public stream. I'm rooting
Right.
for you, Sarah. I'd love for Bob to be wrong. Any chance
Request
we get to
types.
prove Bob wrong, that's an A+ in my book.
All right, let's open that up.
Team Sarah, Team
You
Sarah.
can just click
Team
on the name of the work type, but,
In the
but
chat.
right there, see?
Hashtag I believe Sarah. My money's on Sarah. In the chat. Put your alliance. Team Sarah. Or are you on the losing team with Bob?
And then see there? And then update, and that changes the work type and the workflow.
Did we win?
So that feels a little bit like putting the cart before the horse.
But it's a horse nonetheless.
Wait. Whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
Liz
whoa,
is on Team Bob.
whoa.
Okay. Well, maybe we just have a whole new show topic. I've done this. I have changed the workflow and the work type on
Wait,
a
we
request.
haven't hit update. What happens when you hit update? Will Jira complain?
Shouldn't. It's now because now it's just a matter of mapping over your because you changed workflows.
Yeah.
So now you got to map this stuff.
Now, mind you, this is an active project, and I'm not going to be completing this migration
Well, why don't you make a dummy one?
because I don't have time to make a dummy one because we're doing it live.
Because I have absolutely made the mistake of, oh crap, this request type needs an approval. Therefore, I have to change.
Although, to
the
be
workflow.
completely fair, as much as I don't agree with Bob, I prefer Bob's method still. I would rather
both
just
work,
delete, but I would
Both
rather
work.
delete the request type
but
and
it
start
is
over.
possible.
We don't
I
talk
about
about
Sean
data
has the
center
right
here.
idea.
Data center,
Sorry,
maybe.
sorry, Sean. We don't talk about data center. It's not with the old.
Yep.
We don't talk about Bruno Data Center. No.
It's dead to Atlassian. It's
No
dead
movie
to
references. All musicals. It's The Princess Bride, not a musical. All right.
dun dun dun. So who
But
won?
now I'll be curious to see. is
Sarah
that a
won, right?
question?
Like we're giving this one to Sarah.
I am thinking I'd rather see a debate episode with Jira Life coming up here soon.
I'm gonna say you know I feel like the Black Knight from Monty Python and Holy Grail. All right, we'll call the draw.
Disagree.
I'm going to say it is possible to do it without deleting the request type. All right. We'll
Through
go
a
find
very
out.
hacky way that is unintuitive, per the rest of Atlassian's UX.
All right. So from a template, we'll run through this real quick because really it is just go ahead, go out there and find that request type template that you want to use where you can go through, preview them, figure out one you think you want to use. Again, it's creating a baseline for you. You're not married to it forever and ever till death do you part. You can amend from the template after you use it. And that's how you create your new request type because you're still going to have to fill in information about the request type name, description, and icon. You'll still make a portal selection and work type selection. But don't forget to hit save. And only Jira admins can create request types from a template in a company managed project. Whenever they pull stuff out like that, yep, always a good idea. Mentally highlight that. So team managed projects maybe don't have templates. Huh?
That also means remember it during the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah, let's give you a little riddle. If I make a company managed JSM project and I set it all up, request types, workflows, everything, the whole 9 yards, and I make a new project and I use that project as my basis of the settings, do my request types copy over?
Yep.
To Jira.
Because it
You're
doesn't matter
doing
what
this one,
template you,
Alex.
yeah. Once you share configurations, you've shared, I think,
I don't
all
think
of it.
request
Oh,
types
so,
come
it's,
over.
so it's my turn to root for Sarah against somebody else.
I don't think request types come over.
I think they
Alex?
do.
Share your screen and prove it.
I'll make a fake project real quick so you can continue.
All right. Let's go on to AI. Step 1, don't. Okay.
We're done.
But-
Next step.
But if we have to get through
Step
this,
2.
yeah,
Step 2,
go
create a
ahead
team
and
managed
select
project.
AI, type in some prompts for it, and then select, sorry, I'll read it. Select create using AI, enter your prompt and go. Select your desired request type from the suggestions, then select create.
Interesting they don't say save.
Yeah,
Right,
Atlassian
because
Intelligence is smart that way. It's like, they'll I'm just gonna take over and I will bring this forward without having to save. But
Yeah.
I think the most important part about this, if we're looking at the exam, is that Atlassian Intelligence can create the work item, or sorry, the request types. So
yes, that's your main
Can
takeaway.
try.
Whether you want it to.
well, I mean, I don't think the exam is going to ask how good of a job it's going to do, but
Right. On a scale of 1 to crap, how well did it do?
13.
All right. Let's move on from creating our request types. So then we must map our work types to request types. So each request in a company managed service project is
By the
based
way,
on
I'm ready whenever you guys want to
your
go.
work type. Do we want to go over and see if did it do it?
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna try. We're gonna do this live, but I'm ready. All right.
Okay.
So I got Bob's special request right here. It's a special request type in this marketing services project. We are going to back it on up and create a new project of the type service, of the type general, company managed. Oops, sorry, Sarah. And then we're going to pick whatever we got to do here, but we're going to select the settings, and it's my marketing services, and click create. Let the team in India that Atlassian has hired to make the project.
So that's the old school way of doing it. There are project templates in Jira Cloud. My question is, are there project templates based on JSM projects?
What?
Yeah,
But-
there's project templates for JSM.
Yeah, but to answer the question, the $1 million question though, is your request types you copy over. Another point for Sarah. 2-0.
There's a reason Sarah is our JSM expert.
Yep.
No, today is just the hey. Sarah needed a boost, and they're making me feel good, guys. All right.
I know we're intentionally like.
Hashtag I believe Sarah.
Exactly. I'm usually the one who plays dumb. They're taking that role for me today. That's what's happening. And
a
dumb
good
is
day.
hyperbolic. Okay. So we need to map a work
You know what
type
doesn't copy
to a
over the
request type.
forms?
Say what?
The forms.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't copy the forms, but it's really easy just to hit copy to another project, which I
It is.
love that. Okay, so we can map a work type to a request, which we do when we make the request types, and map multiple request types to a single work type. This is kind of weird. Keep in mind that many different request types can stem from a single work type. So in my visuals that I usually share, I got workflow. It's a one-to-one relationship to a work item type. And then that can be multiple of those request types. So for example, the request a new account and get a guest Wi-Fi account request types are just a few of the request types based off the underlying service request work type. And the requested change request type is based on the change work type, assuming that you've used the ITSM template, that you haven't started from a blank and created your own work types that are neither of those. So team managed service projects only use request types. They do not use work type. So friends, that is off by itself with an info icon. And I remember the first thing I learned about taking exams and studying for exams, if you see that bad boy, you commit that to memory.
That will be a question. It's not if it will be a question. It will be a question.
And that is, it's stated like in their documentation. That's not just any experience we have. It is in the documentation I've seen that says that. All righty. So those request type groups, if you have, oh, this is interesting. They're putting a baseline. If you have more than 7 request types, organize them into request type groups to make them easier to find. I always think about making things skimmable, right? How much can I actually handle and look at and read on a page? I can skim through those portal groups faster than I can skim through more than 7 request
I wonder
types.
how they landed on 7.
I know. I'm guessing some UI research would be my hope, right?
I would hope, but I'm not guaranteeing. I am
Right.
guaranteeing that they may be talking about TGL here because it's Alex's team.
Yes. Which most people think I'm on Alex's team. There was like, oh yeah, you're with that Alex guy. Nothing personal,
people
guys.
actually
But
tell
I'm
you
like,
that?
no, it's the Jira life. Anyway.
No way.
Okay.
Nobody has ever told you that, Sarah.
Yes, actually, they've even told me that, Alex.
That you're with me?
Yeah.
No. It's the opposite.
And on
They
that
have.
day, his head grew 7 times bigger. See, another movie reference, Grinch. Okay.
I was gonna
So Alex's
was the
team
Grinch?
has several request types
I
related
like
to
to be called
technical
Uncle
equipment
Scrooge.
help, such as get IT help, request new software, and so on. So again, yay, project admin power. He groups all equipment related requests into one request type group. He even names the title of the request type group because he's so cool to a more customer friendly status. Computers that will appear on the customer portal for his customers.
All right,
Sorry.
from an editing standpoint, computers should have been in quotes.
Yeah. And it's
I
just,
like the
I
both.
would not have named it that personally. But we don't, do we need to watch the video? Can we just,
Don't think we need to watch the video.
good. Y'all can do that later. Uh-oh, blue box. That's what we said. One request time, multiple. Oh, no, this is different. One request type can belong to multiple groups because fun fact, we all don't organize things the same way. We all don't categorize, even mentally or physically, things in the same way. You come to my house, you don't know where my dishes are because they're not necessarily where your dishes are in your kitchen. So,
and let's
that
face
allows
it,
us
someone's
to
going to
do that.
look for the get Wi-Fi help under computers and not under access.
They could.
They could. They will.
Right. Now,
I've worked
I
out
will
this long
say
enough.
the search is getting better. Like when you go just to search and it pops up some request types, but I still want a hell of a lot more SEO value when I search on my request types because what actually gets searched so far seems to be still just titles. Whereas I want descriptions, I want form fields, I want labels, I want everything. All right. Ms. Alex from Lena. Poor thing.
What do we do?
Speaking of titles, that
Oh,
she
man.
gets called Ms. Alex sometimes, we do have products and entitlements. So if you remember from
Speaking
one
of
of our early
entitlements.
sessions, that products are the things you sell or services you provide to your customers, and that you can add products and set up what your customers are allowed to access. This is not, well, I mean, they're kind of saying it is, but it's not like an order form that people have. But it's more, anyway, sorry. Both admins and agents can add or change these products. I guess I don't want anybody reading this and getting the takeaway like you're creating a catalog of goods that people can purchase from your site. Like you can't set up a shop using JSM. It's only those products or the products you service or the services you provide. All right. But who can request to those things? You can use entitlements as a way to show what a customer can access regarding a product or service. It includes information like support tier, product tier, number of licenses, expiry date, any other details about their entitlement. Call out here, only Jira admins can create fields for entitlement details. So these products and entitlements are like a little mini database that helps support your JSM project. So we can create that metadata about the entitlements and the products, but here again, only those Jira admins can create the fields that we can fill in. But agents can look at a customer profile to understand more when helping with support requests. So they can get that additional metadata. They just can't configure what should be collected and saved about it. So in our step-by-step, then we would go to features and project settings, and we do need to enable customer and organization profiles and select products and entitlements. So that is a feature enablement from our project settings. Now, when we're ready to use that, we want to add our products. So once again here, I feel like they've said this a few times, so I'm saying this a few times too. Products refer to any products or services your customers have entitlements to. They've said that a few times, feels like a key takeaway. Adding your products allows you to create entitlements for your customers. So from our navigation on the left, now after we've enabled it, we would see an area called products. We're going to go click on add product, enter the name of our product or service, and collect add. Well, add's probably down here actually. Now, if we're going to add the entitlement field to our request types, because in order for that to be selectable, we have to have that presented out to our customers. So we can do that on the request type. I assume we're going to talk about forms later. So we add that entitlement field to our request types. When you add it on the request form, so customers will be able to pick from a list of products they have access to, and then agents will also see this field on work items. You do have the option for any of those fields that you make customer facing to make them required. It only makes it required for that request type, not for that underlying work type. You can restrict requests to only customers and organizations with the correct product entitlements. So remember, when we saw that list of request types and one of those columns had a lovely little lock on it, that's where this starts becoming where you would use that. So before you add the field to your request types, well, add your products and create product entitlements for your customers. So in order for them to have something to select, we have to create things for them to select. Whew, 7:44. All right, friends. So this is really dense in here.
They haven't asked questions in a while, and that's starting
Right?
to concern me.
I'm like, so our queues. JSM has a set of default queues, but project admins can customize default queues to suit our team needs, create new queues to automatically triage those items, reorder the queues to work best for our agents, and delete unnecessary queues. So something comes in from our template, we don't want it, bye-bye. And of course, our best practice, collaborate with our team to identify the queues they need. Then name the queues using language your team understands. Always use language the persona can understand, whether that's your customers or your agents, or maybe people who are just browsing your project. For example,
it shouldn't be in French?
Only in French-speaking places. It should be in French in Quebec. It should be in French in France, probably in Ghana, I believe.
Also learn where they hit
You're
the
forgetting one
button.
Another French-speaking place, Monaco? No.
Isn't up north Canada?
I said Quebec.
North.
Ontario or something?
Quebec.
Quebec. There you go.
She already mentioned Quebec, and you guys are going the wrong direction.
Oh, yes. Liz is totally right. Thank you. The Côte d'Ivoire. I knew it was near Ghana. I worked on a website there.
The Cajun is getting antsy. We should at least give them a bone and say yes. They speak French in the Bayou.
Yes. I am going to New Orleans in March. Very excited. So
there are places where they refer to their English neighbors not because they're from England, but because they speak English.
Yep. See. Creole, close enough. All right, Creole, I don't know if it's yet a supported language, but you could make it a supported language, I'm sure. Okay, anyway.
Switzerland?
Oh, that's true. Yes, Switzerland too. That is one of their official 4 languages. That's right. 'Cause
See, I
it's
gotta add some
.ch.
value to the table, Bob.
.ch/fr. Okay.
I
You
thought
got
really
to,
hard
you
about that for
do.
3 minutes.
I mean, I'm not disputing you add value.
All right. So why would we create some queues? Maybe particular to the agent viewing them. So those assigned to me, right? Those current user kind of things. Work items assigned to me and waiting on the customer. So basically, I'm going to shortcut this. If you can create a filter to show you a list of items, that filter can be a queue over in your project. I have seen
$1 million question. Then when do you do a QU versus a filter?
Sorry?
When do you create a QU versus a filter?
A queue is how you navigate them inside of Jira Service Management. A filter you would use if you don't have access to Jira Service Management, or you want to see issues that are work items, requests that are in multiple projects. That's one of the defining differences, I think, between a Jira project and a JSM project.
I
is
agree with the second one,
using
but not the
queues.
first one.
Say what?
I would agree with your second statement, but not your first statement.
Remind me what my first one was.
If you don't have access to JSM.
Well, if you don't have
That's
access to
definitely gonna be
JSM, but
very
you do
true
have
if you're
the
not an
browse
agent.
permission,
But if you have a filter, you're not going to see the data anyway, so it's irrelevant.
because you can see all those underlying, you can see anything that's sort of Jira core. You can see if you don't have a JSM license, so long as you have browse project permissions.
Okay. I wouldn't call it a benefit. Like, why would you, like, if you're in the JSM world, why would you use a filter versus a queue?
I'm not saying I would. You just said, why
I'm
would
asking
you? And
you,
I'm
like,
saying that is a use
what would the
case.
advice be? Because people ask me all the time. Because
No,
they
if you're
function very
working in
similarly,
JSM,
right? They function very
if they
similar.
if they are agents, they have a JSM license, they're working in a JSM project, they're going to use a queue. The only time they wouldn't use a queue would be if they need cross project visibility.
Across.
Maybe they work in more than one project, more than one JSM project. You can't see items from more than one JSM project in a queue.
That's a good point.
They are project specific, which is why, like, personally, I enjoy word filters a lot.
To
Because
Jira.
it gives you kind of another way to, there is another app, cross project queues or something like that.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, just saying that those are things that people almost repurpose the views into JSM projects by using something like that. Okay, but yeah, so again, over in software land, we have lists and we have filters, but in JSM land, we have queues. Queues
Dude,
for
the
days.
JQL won't even like let you type in project.
Oh yeah, probably doesn't. I never actually tried.
Funny. That is, I wouldn't have thought that they really don't want you referencing another project inside the queue.
Right? So the next bit here is kind of interesting because the idea that they're priority groups sort of says, hey, this is what we built them for, or like our intent for building these. I haven't personally used them to prioritize necessarily so much as to extra group on these queues, because that's what our priority groups can do. When we start getting those super duper long lists of queues, they can become somewhat unmanageable, hard to scroll through, etc. And you can star them all day. Ooh, which that reminds me of something else. But so when you start getting that long number of queues, just like we would use portal groups to help our customers easily find those requests by groupings, we can do the same thing with these priority groups. We could have priority groups by team, perhaps. We could have priority groups by priority. So then that lets you switch between your queue groups so that that sidebar doesn't become overwhelming. And one thing I just said about, hey, you can star these things. So if it becomes overwhelming, you go, well, I'll just star that bad boy. Getting back to Alex for a second. Alex, if you have somebody who's working in more than one JSM project and they start starring their queues, then they go up into their starred items and then they just see a bunch of queues. Assigned to me, assigned to me, assigned to me. Boy, that's useless. So if you have people working across multiple JSM projects, I'd give them some little indicator as to what those queues might be. Otherwise, that could become really complicated for people. Because again, more often than not, I've seen extremely long lists of queues that can be difficult to navigate.
You know what would be great for those assigned to me queues? Just in putting in the project key we keep talking about.
Yes, exactly. The project key that no longer shows up anywhere now, except for we can still use it to shortcut our names of things.
Real quickly from Sean here, queues can have filters, but if the filter is referencing a non-JSM project, she doesn't like it.
No, the filter for a queue can only be for that project. You could type in project ABC also maybe, but like you said, project doesn't even show up. But no, you
but
can't.
You can do filter equals and then call out one of your filters.
Oh, that I would say, yeah.
But
I think
if your filters but if your filter is referencing a different Jira project, it doesn't bring back anything.
Correct. Same is true on those pesky JSM boards. They are also not cross-project. You can't fake the system by pulling in items.
But the opposite is also not true, right? So you can.
The opposite is not true.
You can have a Jira project, and your Jira filter can reference JSM items, as long as you have the licensing and access. And then your Scrum boards or your Kanban boards can access JSM work items.
Licensing and or access. I'm still going to harp on that one because you don't need a JSM license in order to be able to see items in a JSM project.
Why wouldn't you?
Because again, it's underlying core Jira database information. As long as you have browse projects, you can see it.
You need to have an agent license.
Only to see queues, only to see SLAs. What about?
Only if you're going to transition those work items.
You cannot, without a JSM license, you can't see a queue. You can't see the SLAs. You cannot comment to a customer.
You'll see just
you can see list. Fields. You can comment internally. You can't be assigned the item if you don't have a JSM license, and you can't transition the items, as Bob was saying. But you can still see the bulk of the data. You would just see it in a way that strips out any JSM specific functionality. Like you probably now, I haven't looked at it yet, but you might not see run books now. I don't know if that's true. I haven't tried it, but run books.
But that assumes though that you have a Jira license to do that. What you just
correct.
You still need product access and the permission,
but not necessarily for JSM.
Right.
Correct.
I have seen that what you just described before.
Now, they created a whole thing called a developer queue to try to make that easier, but I don't like it. All right. So to create these priority groups, so this is, again, queues, project admins. Not product, but a powerful project admin can go and create a queue. So in the sidebar, they're going to go to queue settings. This is one of two places offhand that I can think of where you don't go into project settings in order to configure something in JSM. This one you do straight from the queue.
Good luck finding the queue settings button.
What's that?
Good luck finding that dumb queue settings button where they put it at now.
Well, it's our queues, ... ellipse, smashed hamburger, whatever.
Yeah, whoever likes this new UX clearly is smoking something that's on Sarah's porch.
Nobody's talking about the UX anymore because data center's going away. So we usurped to that. With
it's just such a silly
2029, Alex is still going to beat this dead horse.
It's a silly place to put the queue settings. I wouldn't have, especially when you came over from the old view.
I'm just saying, we're going to be hour 18 of the Farewell DC 24-hour live stream. And Alex will still be going on about the UI change 4 years ago.
Yes.
No, by then Atlassian will change it all and mess it all up again.
Right. Let's get to those questions.
All
3
right.
minutes.
I think 3 minutes, 2 questions. We are not going to do this in time.
Yes, we are.
Right. Gerald is a service project admin on the facilities team. Sometimes customers' requests require use of a third-party vendor to complete a repair. Team wants a way to view tickets assigned to them that also require a vendor. How can Gerald configure a service project to accommodate the team? Reorder the assigned to me queue so it appears at the top of the list. Create a new queue called vendor requests assigned to me. Customize the assigned to me queue to show only assigned work items that require a vendor.
I have my answer.
I've got my answer.
I'm still reading the question.
It's Liz's answer.
I'll go with Liz.
Middle one until we're wrong, then C.
She's not wrong.
She is not wrong. She also created a new queue. Reordering the assigned to me queue will only change where the queues appear on the sidebar. It will also show all tickets assigned to an employee, not just the ones that involve vendor. Gerald could customize the assigned to me queue to show only assigned work that requires a vendor. However, the employees wouldn't be able to see all of their assigned tickets in one queue. Gerald should create a new queue instead.
Yeah. Because it should have a name that makes sense to the agents, and the other one would then be misnamed. All right, go for Hurricane Katrina.
Katrina is a service project admin for a team managed project or team managed marketing service project. Her team has 10 request types related to visual asset requests, such as request motion graphics or request graphic design. Which feature would help Katrina organize the request types and make them easy for customers to find?
Okay, I got my answer.
I've got mine.
I've got mine.
And I know what my keyword was.
Probably the same keyword I'm still looking at.
I think C.
Well, you think it is create a request type group?
Well, I've only read the first
Mhm.
two sentences. Hold up.
Because request type groups out there, queues this way. That's what I always do in my training. Who is it facing? I like it.
Still.
Good thing, because OC was correct. Again, I'm pretty sure the keyword Sarah honed in on, and Bob, is the same one I did, which is organize. Not?
I honed in on customers.
Customers.
I mean, customers helped, but
Because
were doing.
a queue is a way to organize.
It is.
I honed in over 10 request types.
That's another one because
that's
they
where I
said
was
7.
at. That's where I left off at.
We said try and keep it to 7.
I like it too.
All right. I think that's going to call us for this week. We are now
Oh,
at
you
the
did no badge.
We still got
Wait,
Wednesday.
go to next lesson. Get your badge. Damn it, no badge. Sorry.
not yet. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We'll be back on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, to go or keep going down this list. Sarah, we will get that badge eventually, though. We will get that badge. You can also catch us Thursday. Well, most of us. We'll be having guest Ravi on, talking about his work at Sparksys and just his wealth of experience within the Atlassian ecosystem. He was creating content and books when I was brand new to all this stuff, so he definitely should have some few fun stories. That'll be Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, and
September 18th.
Yep, September 18th. And
Yeah, I
we'll
won't
catch
be
you
there,
guys then.
Womp, womp, womp.
All right.
I'll sneak you in. I'll find a way.
Bye, everybody.
We'll catch you guys
Okay,
next
see you
time.
next time. I'm gonna go get my mom's.